The king is dead, long live the king. We're not there yet. By winning his 24th Grand Slam title, Novak Djokovic reclaimed his #1 spot in an impressive manner. But Carlos Alcaraz is mightily shaking his throne. While the chances are very good that Alcaraz surpasses the big three and becomes the greatest of all time himself, I will show you in this video.
Game, start, match.
After Roger Federer entered a well-deserved retirement at the end of 2022, becoming the first of the big three to do so, Rafa also announced that 2024 will be his final season.
My ambition is to try to stop, to give myself an opportunity to enjoy next year. That's probably going to be my last year in a professional tour. No?
And although the Joker has fared relatively well through his 20-year professional career, certain signs of wear and tear are obvious. He too is already approaching the final stretch of his career, but is pushing back with all he has, attempting to extend his numerous records a bit further. When you consider all the incredible records that the big three have set, it is already evident that based on purely sporting achievements, Novak Djokovic is currently to be considered the greatest tennis player of all time. This statement is particularly difficult for me as I've been a Federer fan for years. I've always hoped that Nolan wouldn't deliver such striking numbers, which only allow for one outcome in the ongoing GOAT debate. But now one player is poised to chase the records of the big three: Carlos Alcaraz Garcia. Based on substantial numbers and facts, I would like to show you why he is currently on an excellent path to break these records and where the major pitfalls lie. As mentioned earlier, Rafa will hang up his record in 2024. Despite his frequently demonstrated comeback qualities and incredible determination to prove himself once again, Rafa probably has a realistic chance of expanding his Grand Slam tally only at the French Open. That the Joker, despite his advanced age, is still in such a condition and continues to be considered the hottest candidate for winning Grand Slam titles speaks for itself. However, he's not a machine, and if things go well for him and he stays relatively injury-free, he can still play at such a level for another 1 to 2 years, I think. Whether it will be enough to win Grand Slam titles, my crystal ball unfortunately didn't tell me. However, you could see from the example of Serena Williams that despite her remarkable comeback as a mother, she was still able to reach Grand Slam finals. Winning them, however, proved unattainable. A crucial factor in this is the next generation, which relentlessly pushed themselves to challenge the monuments of the legends. On the marketing side, the ATP has attempted to prepare for and emotionally charge the transition from the Big Three era with the next gen. There are already some exciting personalities among them who certainly show the potential to meet these expectations. Names like Casper Ruud, Jannik Sinner, Holger Rune, or Frances Tiafoe, to just name a few, have occasionally made some exclamation points. However, only one player has so far left a lasting impression on the grandest stages of all, the Grand Slams: Carlos Alcaraz. Let's take a look at which next-gen players have already won a Masters tournament. Now, those who have won a Grand Slam or were successful twice in these. At the current moment, Carlitos has won as many Grand Slams as all the players shown here combined, despite being the youngest among them. Furthermore, the 2 titles from Medvedev and Thiem have the undertone that they also came about due to Novak's mental lapse. He was definitely in better form in terms of gameplay than the 2 winners at both tournaments. It's still a long way for Carlos Alcaraz to catch up with or even surpass the incredible achievements of Nadal, Djokovic and Federer. However, at the age of 20, he already has a respectable collection of accomplishments to his name. What is even more interesting is to draw a comparison to the big three when they were his age. Firstly, I would like to take a look at the development in Grand Slam tournaments and who had won how many titles by which age. It is interesting to see that Novak built up his incredible collection of titles relatively late. Until the age of 23, he had only secured 2 Grand Slam titles. This was, of course, partly because Federer, almost 6 years older, had already established himself as a seasoned Grand Slam collector and the maestro of the sport. Additionally, Rafa had cemented his invincibility on clay at a young age. At the age of 26, Nole had only amassed 6 Grand Slam titles, while Federer already had 12 and Nadal 11. This also illustrates how, due to his longevity and continuous improvement, Nole eventually surpassed the other 2. For Federer, it was exactly the opposite. He won 12 of his first 14 Grand Slam finals through his aura of invincibility, leveraging his first winner advantage. After that, he only won 8 of the next 17 Grand Slam finals. It became evident that towards the end of his career, he had 2 rivals who were more than equal, either fitter or no longer intimidated by his big name. Rafa was the most consistent over the years. Simply put, he almost always won the French Open and, on average, another Grand Slam every 2 years. At the age of 20 years and 6 months, Carlitos already has at least as many Grand Slam titles as each of the big 3 had at the same age. Additionally, he has 2 semifinals and quarterfinals to his name, demonstrating remarkable consistency at such a young age. Apart from his recent semifinal exit at the US Open, he has consistently improved his performance in each Grand Slam tournament compared to his previous participation. But it's much more than that. If you look at the winning percentages of these 4 at the same age, some of you will be surprised. I certainly was. There's only one surface and one player who had a better record at the same age. And it wasn't Federer's grass record. But even from this incredible mark of the King of Clay, Carlos Alcaraz is not far away. Alongside all the hard work of his early years, where you could already recognize the talent, Alcaraz also had the luck to secure a former world number 1 as a coach at the age of 15. Juan Carlos Ferrero saw the potential, and this would pay off for the both of them. Besides Juan Carlos Ferrero, Carlitos' team consists of 2 fitness coaches, a physiotherapist, a doctor, and the manager Alberto Molina, who was responsible for bringing Juan Carlos Ferrero and Carlos Alcaraz together. He can benefit enormously from Ferrero's experiences, not just in tennis, but also as an important human aspect. This brings us to the next point. Juan Carlos Ferrero was never known as a loud speaker, and Carlitos is also a modest guy without any escapades. This down-to-earth attitude is an important characteristic necessary for a long, successful career. Even after what he has achieved so far, there is no sign of a negative change in him. Success doesn't seem to get to his head. An even more crucial point is how he handles pressure, both off and especially on the tennis court. Alcaraz is reminiscent of Rafael Nadal, who even at a young age presented the best solutions when his back was against the wall. Carlitos thrives in such moments, often accompanied by his typical likable smile.
Oh my goodness me! Well, the ball was behind.
You can see from these numbers that he is already on par with the greatest in the sport in tight situations, even though he does not yet have their wealth of experience. With each successful tournament, his confidence will grow, and perhaps he will then attain the same aura of invincibility that the big three have radiated for years. Compared to the rest of the next gen, he also has the advantage that he has already relieved himself of the pressure of winning a Grand Slam title and ascending to the number one. Knowing that he can defeat a Novak Djokovic in top form over 5 sets at Wimbledon will further boost his confidence and self-assurance on the court. These victories are essential to have an advantage over his opponents in future battles. The factor that is probably the most difficult to predict is his health development. Tennis is an extremely demanding sport for various parts of the body, so it will be crucial to continually adapt his game and occasionally manage a sensible load control. So far, Carlos Alcaraz has been playing a very physically demanding and intensive game, which could potentially cause him problems later in his career. Even Rafa, who had a similar playing style in his early years, had to adjust his game to manage such a long career at such a high level. Nevertheless, his medical record looks like that of a 70-year-old. But that's a topic for another discussion. Alcaraz has the luxury of being able to afford a large team at an early age to take care of his health. And he also possesses the skills to shorten rallies, providing a solid foundation in this aspect as well.
It's just so clever.
In terms of fitness and nutrition, he is also very well positioned. You should not be misled by his exit at the French Open. The young man is fit like few others. He was able to prove this in the epic 5-set thriller at Wimbledon, setting things right. In his Spartan life at the Juan Carlos Ferrero Tennis Academy, everything is geared towards tennis. And so far, he seems to be enjoying it. Speaking of enjoying, if you've enjoyed the video up to this point, please feel free to leave a like. This is my first video on this channel and I hope you had some aha moments so far. I will be delivering more content in the coming weeks as my desk is full of exciting topics. So it's best to click on the bell now to ensure you don't miss anything and to support my channel. As mentioned briefly earlier, Alcaraz does not live in a grand villa. He moved from one of the 25 square meter bungalows at the Juan Carlos Ferrero Tennis Academy to the 90 square meter version just last year. This one is reserved exclusively for the absolute tennis elite. Ferrero himself lived in this prefab house when he became the world's number one. Tennis played a significant role in Carlitos' family even before his birth. His grandfather founded the tennis club Real Sociedad Club de Campo in Murcia, and his father was also a tennis player. However, due to a lack of sponsors, his father couldn't afford the expensive travels. That's how he became the director of the tennis club. Thanks to these excellent conditions, Carlos could train without restrictions, and thus develop his passion for tennis at a very young age. Carlos' girlfriend, Maria González Jiménez, is also a tennis player, and therefore shares the love for his sport. We've seen this combination of success somewhere before. Another proof of his down-to-earth nature is how he uses his prize money. Instead of buying flashy sports cars like Ferrari, yachts, or private jets with his millions, he preferred to establish a foundation that benefits his local community. The Carlos Alcaraz charity, founded at the end of 2022, advocates for disadvantaged communities and supports them with essentials, such as food or educational facilities. In terms of playing elements, Carlos Alcaraz has already demonstrated the level of game intelligence he possesses, regardless of his young age. Despite his previous successes, he and his coach are aware of his weaknesses and work hard to address and eliminate them. Especially noteworthy is his attitude, which is already highly professional and subordinates everything to tennis. This forms an important foundation for focused development and a long successful career. His environment, with an experienced coach and a family that has instilled in him a sense of groundedness, are also building blocks of his success. It will be interesting to see how he can preserve his advantage from the titles he has won so far, or whether Sinner, Rune, and the others can catch up. Considering that, as of today, Novak, Rafa, and Roger have divided 66 Grand Slam titles among themselves, I do believe that Carlitos has a good chance of breaking Djokovic's records. The most critical factor in my eyes is how Alcaraz manages his body and whether he has the necessary bit of luck to stay clear of major injuries.
Oh, he's got it!
I will definitely continue to observe this closely, and perhaps in 15 years I can refer back to this video. Did you expect him to be doing so well based on the numbers? I'm curious to hear your comments and how you see it. Feel free to leave a like or subscribe. Until next time.
Game, stat, match.